Hi everyone and welcome to today's Phonemos tutorial, where we'll deep dive into the powerful world of metadata and labels. This dynamic duo will help you organize your knowledge base like never before. We will not only cover on how to use it, but also which use cases you can tackle with this brand new feature. What are metadata? Imagine metadata as a filing system for your Phonemos content. It lets you add extra details to your entries, making them easier to find and categorize. Think of it as a simple database built right into Phonemos. So how can we create or configure our metadata in Phonemos? First of all, we have to define them, and this goes by clicking on the cogwheel here, and then click on Configure Metadata. And here we see an overview about all our global metadata domains. A metadata domain is a group of metadata fields that belong to the same general topic or subject. And they're often used together. So let's take a practical example. This would be, for example, the departments of a company. So for example, sales and marketing, IT, etc. So let's create our own global metadata domain by clicking here on the plus sign. This metadata domain shall be about creating an example CV. So let's call it example CV. It can be add a description, but for the moment it's not necessary. And here we can create our metadata fields. So by clicking on the plus sign, we can now configure our first metadata field, which is for years of working experience. Here we can add a description, and now we can choose the type of the metadata field. So we've got several that we will go through in this tutorial. Text is simple. You can just add a text field of your years of experience, but I think number would be more appropriate in this case. So here we can choose the unit, let's say years. And then we can define how many decimals this should have. So I would say 1, so that we can say 1.5 years. The second metadata field is the company entrance date. Here we can use the date field, which is very conveniently. Click Save. Next one is CV owner. So here we can choose the user in Phonemos who this CV belongs to. The next one is languages. This is a labels field with multiple values. So for example, if an employee speaks German and English, here we could add those languages. And then the next field is IT skills. This is a select field. We could also make it a label field, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's call it a multi-select field. And let's start putting in the options. Here you can choose colors or icons. Let's go with the colors. Let's give Agile red. Click on the plus, and now you have created your first option. IT project manager is the second one. Let's give this purple. Java. This gets green. Databases expert, he gets black. Marketing gets yellow. The last field is the sales field. So here we give this one, let's say, a bluish tone. Click on the plus. And now we've defined all our metadata fields when we click here on the Save button. Now, when we go back to domains, here we can see the example CV and all the 5 fields that we have created. After having defined our metadata domains and its fields globally, we can now use them in a Phonemos topic, like this one, metadata and Phonemos. To do this, we first need to turn on the corresponding metadata fields within this topic. As you can see, there is no metadata symbol here on the right side, which means that there's currently no metadata field turned on. In order to turn it on, we click here on the cogwheel and go to metadata. And here we can see that only the custom fields on this topic is turned on. You can select this option if you want to create your own custom metadata fields, and they will only be usable in this topic. So now let's turn on the example CV metadata fields and domain that we have just defined. And by clicking here, they are all turned on at the same time. Now we could turn off each individually, but let's leave them all turned on. And now we can go to an example CV that I've already prepared. And you can see here is the metadata symbol now turned on. And if we click this metadata symbol now, here appear all the metadata fields that we have defined earlier. So in order to set a metadata field now, we can just write here the years of experience, for example. So now this person has 10 years of working experience. We can set the company entrance date, let's say 1st of January 2024. And we can define the matching user in Phonemos. I just put on myself. And here we can define the languages. Let's say, for example, German and French, and he speaks also English. And here we can define the IT skills, which was a selection field. So we can select which one of those IT skills that this person has. So let's say, for example, he's working in the IT field and he's IT project manager, so he has this skill. And now we've defined all the metadata fields for this person. Let's do it with another one. For example, here, Jessica Taylor. Let's give her 5 years of experience and a company entrance date of 1st of April. CV owner. Let's give it also to myself, just as an example. We give her different languages, so she also speaks German. And let's say Spanish. And she can also speak Chinese. As her IT skills, let's say she's a marketing professional. Now I will define all the other 3 CVs, and I will make a quick break so you don't have to watch it. So now there are 2 ways on how to get an overview about the different metadata fields in Phonemos. The first one is by using the macro called metadata table. To show this, we will create a new Phonemos page called CV example metadata table macro. And here on this example page, we will add a macro by clicking the plus and add the metadata table macro. Here in this part, we can configure what parts of Phonemos we want to include in this macro. So we can include, for example, the current topic. We can include the whole Phonemos instance that we're working on, or we could also include all Phonemos instances if you have various ones. In this tutorial, we will just use the metadata in this current topic. So we choose the current topic, which is called metadata and Phonemos. And now we can see or filter out all the metadata fields that we have configured in this topic. And now we click on columns, and now we can define all the columns that we want to include in our overview. So for example, we want to include the name. We want to include the type. This is always a Phonemos page in the example that we've provided. And we can include, let's say, for example, the years of working experience, the company entrance date, and let's say the IT skills. And then we can see that here we have a link to the Phonemos page that we have created. So when we click here, we would get here. Here we see the type, and here we see the years of working experiences. We can also change it here. Let's say we decide that he has now 20 years. And it gets updated also here, of course. And here we can see the company entrance date. We can also change it in here. And the IT skills. Emily Smith hasn't IT skills yet, so let's give her the Agile IT skill and click on Save. And now we've changed this. And we have a great overview about all our metadata fields. The second way on how to get an overview about your metadata fields is by using the macro called object list. To show this, we will create a new Phonemos page called CV example metadata object list. And here on this Phonemos page, we will add the object list macro. In this field here, we can define the scope of the metadata fields that we want to use. So for example, we want to use the metadata fields of this Phonemos topic, metadata and Phonemos. So here we write metadata and Phonemos. And we select it. And then we can see that now we see all the Phonemos pages that have metadata defined. And now we could just click on it. But the real use case of this macro is that we can filter them now. And we have various options. So for example, we can filter them if we click here on the plus and filter them, for example, by years of working experiences. And then we can say, for example, we want to see only the people that have exactly 20 years of working experience. And this would be Michael Johnson. Or we can say we want to have people that have less than 20 years and various other filtering options. So you can filter by the name, by the type, or all the metadata fields that you have defined. So let's say, for example, you want to include all the pages that have the ability of Agile and let's say databases, and now only those 2 CVs show up. As you have seen, the brand new metadata feature in Phonemos is very powerful. With it, you can transform your Phonemos knowledge base into a powerhouse of organized information and create your own filtered metadata database with it. Thanks for joining this Phonemos video tutorial. We hope you feel empowered to leverage the power of metadata and labels. For further assistance, feel free to contact us at phonemos.com. See you next time.